If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC25, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC25 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Okay, guys, so I did tell you that I was going to make a new 442 video. This 442, believe it or not, this is a tactic that I actually made. This is the first time I made a custom tactic my own in a very long time. A lot of the times I usually do reviews for them, but as you are playing the game, you're realizing what you want your players to do, right? So a lot of people, what they're having a lot of trouble with right now is that their players are just not moving, attacking AI wise. That makes it fun for them, right? And if they don't have that movement, then right away they'll go and like blame the game, right? But you guys need to understand that roles is such a big part of the game nowadays, and having better quality players is also a big part of the game, right? So if you're using a team like this and you're giving an opinion on the game, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do, because this is a garbage team, right? The only people that I would genuinely keep in this team for like even in the higher divisions is probably Karioglu and Gyökeres. Those would be like the two main ones, but the other ones, they always have certain things that bother me from time to time, right? Maybe like a Kanji could be used a little bit too, but those two specifically are like the big ones. The other ones, like I already realized right away, okay, I would switch this card. Like I even have Eduardo Quaresma on a shadow and he bothers me sometimes, you know? But it's very important to mention that, right? That you need to see, attacking AI wise, what you want your players to do. It's very, very important, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how the custom tactic is lined up. So if we go to the team management, you guys will be able to see the code at the top left of the custom tactic, right? So if I go like this and I go back, right, you can see that the active custom tactic is right there on the top left, right? So we will be doing that code down below in the comment section as well, so you don't have to worry about that too much, right? So with this custom tactic, it is the 442 that rotates into a 4222, right? Now, the reason why I personally want my team to rotate into a 4222 is literally because I find that the wide play is not exactly what I personally want. When I usually have my left mid and right mid on winger, even winger plus, I kind of just find them useless, right? There's not a lot of situations where I want to only attack in the side positions, unless maybe my tactics is set up differently and my playstyle is set up differently, where I actually utilize the side positions a little bit more. But with this, you can change your formation from a 4-4-2 into a 4-2-2, right? So if you guys haven't watched how the formation and custom tactics video works, I recommend that you watch that video first before you do this, because some people are still going to be new to this, right? So basically, with ball, without ball, with ball, without ball, right? So the way that this custom tactic is lined up is like this, right? So your goalkeeper is just on goalkeeper and defend, right? You can choose some different things there. I'm not against people choosing different things there. You can totally 100% put sweeper, keeper and stuff if you want. It just depends on what your goalkeeper is going to be best at, right? One of your defenders is going to be on defender plus and defend, right? So defender plus is a no-nonsense center back who excels at the basics of defending, including maintaining a defensive line. And then I have my Akanji, who's on the ball-playing defender, a modern center back who is as comfortable playing offside as playing the ball, capable of moving forward or wider to support build-up play, right? So for me, I always like to have this, to always have that extra passing option if one of my center backs don't do it, right? And I feel like a lot of the case, it is a situation that I personally want, right? Both of my fullbacks are on fullback balanced, right? Because it's not like I don't ever want them to push forward in certain situations. I do, because it still helps out a lot in the general buildup. What you have to be careful of is not overcommitting your players in this game, because if you make one passing mistake in the defense and someone goes on the counterattack against you, they have a lot of players against yours, right? So just be very careful of that. But for me, I just like the general build-up play when I have it on fullback and balanced. Your right mid is on inside forward and balanced, and so is your left mid. The reason why I like inside forward is that for me personally, I find that I can force attacking AI out of my players way more when it's on the inside forward. In the winger position, like I said, my main goal is not to go to the side positions to build up my attack. My main goal is to build up through the middle, right? Which is why I like that it turns into a 4-2-2, because I have essentially two cams in that area working off of the strikers as well as the midfielders. Why? Because the midfielders are also on box-to-box balance, box-to-box balance. So if you look at the description of it, this player operates between the two boxes, operating as neither the last line of defense nor the final part of attack, but involved in everything. And then you can go over here and then scroll down a little bit. But involved in everything in between. For me, I like this because I personally feel like if I have not even one person on box to box, the build-up play in the middle feels very stagnant, and I personally don't like it, right? There are situations where I would recommend actually putting one of them on the holding and defense. That would be perfectly fine, right? Because obviously with people mostly going for counterattack, mostly using 5-back formations, it's always going to be ideal to have that one player there so that you can kind of avoid counterattacks, because people can rotate from a 5-back to a 3-back and attack a lot against you, right? So having one player in defense is also not a horrible thing. I just feel like when it comes to my general build-up play, I personally like the box-to-box and the balance, right? The way that these guys can push forward and come back, it's just very helpful to work with, right? And then the striker, I need to talk about the strikers. Very, very important to mention this, okay? With the strikers, I personally feel like, and I've always felt like this in previous installments of football games, right? Or FC or FIFA. I don't like both of my strikers making attacking AI runs, right? Like forced, not attacking AI runs, forced attacking AI runs, right? Because you have no buildup, right? Because there's certain situations where it makes sense for one player to be the poacher and then for one player to be the target forward, because the target forward, it's going to be a player that will almost act like your player that will build up the play with the rest of the players, because these guys on the side positions will still be making attacking runs, and you will always have support with your midfielders as well, right? So target forward and attack works out really well for me personally, and then poacher also works out really well. And I actually have a recommendation for the striker position on poacher, and it's so funny because you guys probably watched the reviews of me reviewing this card last year, and I used to feel like he was very generic, right? He was just like an R-trigger merchant, which he kind of is in this year's game, but he's actually generally a very good striker, and it's actually Openda, right? So a lot of you guys are going to have obviously cheaper cards that are not going to have poacher. Try to get poacher plus as much as possible, because I really notice a difference when both of the strikers up top have plus on them. So if you have a target forward plus at the very least and a poacher plus, that's when you're going to really see it. But this card right here in that poacher plus role cooks for me, man. Like, he is very good, feels very fast. You know, you can kind of go in any direction with this card as well. You can give him a hawk, you can give him a finisher, right? Because the finisher would obviously increase the dribbling of the card to be more responsive, and his pace would still be in a decent area, right? But working with the poacher plus part, having him making those attacking AI runs and working off of the target forward is fantastic, because look at the description of the target forward as well. It says an attacking outlet whose physicality allows them to hold up play, shielding the ball from opponents and bring others into the attack. They feed on crosses as well as passes to feet, right? I was using Diego Milito in the draft in this position, and he has the target forward plus, and he was doing a fantastic job for me, because there's situations where I have my striker who's the poacher who's making that run, and then I'm working off of the other 4 players with my other striker to wait for him to push up against defenders, make that one small little run, and then score an opportunity, right? Because target forward does not mean that these guys don't ever make runs. There are situations where they will make a runs, but in a target forward manner, right? So for me, it's definitely a custom tactic that works out really well, forces attacking AI out of your players, and you're not super stagnant. I will recommend that if you do utilize players that have the box to box, try to get players like this, right? So I'll show you guys some examples, right? A card like Declan Rice would be a very good example, right? Even though he has the plus in the CDM position, mainly as the holding sort of player, you can see that he has box to box as a center mid. And remember that it's not about always attacking, because this card as a as a box to box player in game will have more defensive capabilities over attacking. So he's not really going to be the type of guy to be like, oh yeah, I want to attack often. No, he's going to help you out in the build up play, and he's going to give you a solid defensive presence in the midfield. Your other player, if you have someone who is a box to box player and is actually someone that wants to attack, will attack from time to time. if you really want to, and again, this always depends on the situation of your club, you can also use Tonali, right? So he doesn't necessarily need to be on the box-to-box because this player would be your quote-unquote more defensive-oriented card, right? So if I were to use Tonali and I have someone that has the deep lying playmaker, look at the description of the deep lying playmaker, right? So if you're building up the play, you have the key cog to building up play from the back. This defensively positioned midfielder will often be the catalyst for attack. So he will help you out in the build-up with someone like a Kanji, right? And you're always going to have a passing option to work with while working with the side position players and fullbacks that could potentially utilize the side positions, right? So it's not horrible to switch the two center mid positions, right? You can definitely use box to box, but if you get players like this, he will just be your more defensive oriented card. Just make sure that the other card is box to box so that you at least get some sort of midfielder movement, because you'll actually see that if I put playmaking or deep lying playmaker and I switch to the off ball movement, you could see that it still remains as a 4-2-2. Okay, so it's very, very important to mention these things because the way that these players move on the pitch always remains in a specific shape and you attack the middle as much as possible. Okay, so that's pretty much it. There's going to be a lot of different meta players you're definitely going to want to go for as much as possible because, like I said, this year's game, as FIFA progresses as a video game, or as FC progresses as a video game, it will become more and more prevalent to get better cards. It's a very, very big deal. But you know what's really nice about the tactics when you're feeling them out is that players that you would never use in previous years can actually cook in this game, right? Like I would never use Diego Milito, but look at what Diego Milito can do during the highlights, right? Because he has the good finishing and he plays his role well, okay? So it's always important to always try to get players that will fit your custom tactics to the best of its ability and see what you feel like you're missing. Because I was using a different person's 4-4-2 and within first 10 minutes of the game, I'm like, this is not going to work for me, right? Because I'm seeing the play a certain way. I'm seeing where my players are moving and are not moving. And I'm like, no, this needs to happen for me to be able to do this, this, and that. And you know what's great? This is probably the first year where I feel like I can actually personally do this because I want my players to behave a certain way, right? So it's always very important to take a look at all that stuff, right? So try it out, see how it works for you. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Let me see if this one, hold on. Yeah, you can use 45 or you can use 50 for the defensive, the defensive line. You can use 45 or 50. One or the other would be fine, right? 45 seems to be like a decent area so that people don't go for like the lobbed passes as much. But yeah, that's pretty much it. For the custom tactics. Try to get the best rolls you can possibly get, roll pluses at the very least, and basically just take it from there, okay? Hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. For the introduction, I'll show you guys the highlights of the 4-4-2, and I'll catch you guys for the next video. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys. If I concede against this guy, I lose. To be honest with you. Oh, finally. Finally. Oh, Milito. Good strike, man. Close off the game. Let's go. I had a feeling he's going to move the goalkeeper there. Lito with a deflection. Good stuff. Nice. Oh, good stuff. Moved the goalkeeper there, but as long as we get that green, we could score that. By the way, guys, Openda. Previous years, he used to be way more generic. He ain't generic anymore, bro. Let me tell you. He ain't generic anymore. Oh, beautiful, man. Let's go. Oh, Panda, you monster. Holy, bro. Oh, what a finish, Melito. What a finish, man. Good goal. Good goal, good goal. Bro, what a team, man. What? Now we got lucky there. But gotta create your luck in this game. Oh, I defended that so poorly. That was really bad. It's a kickoff, but it was bad defending by me. Oh, deflection, but you know what? Let me take it, bro. Nice. Yeah, small dribbles come off nice. I could do a lob pass like that. Score an opportunity that way too, you know? Okay, it works out there, actually. There it is. Ooh, Danuma.